Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. Um, I forgot to hit publish yesterday. I published the video this morning, so you're getting two today because this morning's was yesterday's. I had like, I had a bunch of tabs. I went down a rabbit hole last night. So I published the video about Aaron's book and then the Blades in the Dark. And one of my friends, well, Jeff, the person who I said in the video that I could possibly play this with, asked, "So when are you going to run it?" And I was like, I don't know. And then I started thinking about that. Like, could I run it? The point of Blades in the Dark is it's intended to be like small session, go do a heist, come back, there's some downtime. It's not intended to be this like, I mean, I guess there could be a campaign, but it's not really intended to be that. It's more fluid with members of the gang coming and going, so you don't always have to have the same people. So if there was ever an RPG I could run, I think it could be that one. And I've always been a sucker for gas lamp stuff. So I spent a good portion of last night researching and writing a little bit. I wrote a little bit of some ideas, like what if I ran this? And then reading. I did a lot of reading. So I had all these tabs open from that. And I mentioned yesterday that I had something that I've been thinking about doing and that I might talk. So we're just going to talk about it. And I'm scared to talk about it because, again, as I've always said, usually when I talk about something, then I lose the interest in that thing. But I've been thinking about this for literally years, and I've not acted on it because I'm terrified of the idea. But I think I have this domain name. I'm not going to call it out, but I have a domain that's basically parked at this point because I haven't done anything to the software on that domain in a long time. And I think it's a fun name. And the domain was created from a story idea that I had. So the name is tied to this story concept. And I've been wanting to do kind of a free-form, like a continuous writing project where I would just put up a new chapter or whatever. And I've been thinking about doing that. But I also don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to have this thing be just solely my thing. So I've been thinking, like, is it possible for me to get into the flash fiction publishing world? And what does that look like? Is it possible for me to purchase stories from writers, flash fiction stories, like 2,000 words or less kind of stuff, and publish them on that domain and figure out a way to monetize it so that I'm not losing money? I think I would have a lot of fun being not necessarily an editor, but a curator. I think I could have a lot of fun doing that, of curating other people's stories. And then that might give me the impetus to, all right, now I'm going to tell part 2 of my story, and then I'll publish some other people's stuff. So I've been thinking about it for many years. Like, is it possible? Is it possible? There are, quote, magazines that have been around for a long time that no longer really do magazine publication. They do online publication, and they do pay people for their work, and they will sometimes publish collections of those things. And they pay pretty well, Some of the bigger ones pay like 8 cents a word. If you're writing a 1,000-word story, that's not bad, Getting paid $80 to like that'd be fun. I can't really afford to do that, So is there a way for me to make it attractive to authors who want to have their work published, so that I can then publish it and somehow recoup that money through AdSense or through merch sales or whatever? Is there a way for me to do that? And I think the answer currently is no. Like, there's no time in my schedule for something like that. But it's still a thing that it's been slowly churning in my head. how could I get into that? I think the answer is I would need a partner. I would need somebody else involved in the project so that it's not all on my shoulders, so that we could share responsibilities between the site and publishing or whatever. I think that I would need a lot of help, and I currently don't have a person in my life that could help me that way. And I think that at the beginning, at the outset, it's not. I don't think it's possible today to say I am now a publisher. I'm publishing flash fiction, and I pay 10 cents a word. Send me your stuff, and we're going to start this thing off. I don't think that's possible. I think that the reality is you have to do it for a while. You have to publish for a while and put out work and just keep going until you have an audience. And then after you have an audience, you can start taking submissions, which would mean I'd have to have a whole bunch of my own fiction, or me and my partner's fiction, or friends who have submitted their fiction for free that we could then publish in some way, shape, or form. I don't know that it's possible, but I think it would be fun. And there, the other side of that is there are already outlets for authors to become published basically for free, especially for flash fiction. There's 1,000 sites that people go to read flash fiction, so why would they come to me? But I think there's something special in the curation of it all that I could add, and I think I could have fun being that person. But again, this isn't something that's going to happen anytime soon. But to tie this all back together to Blades in the Dark, the story that I have had in my head for a while now, many, many years, probably 4 or 5 years now, I've been wanting to tell this story somehow, is a sort of thief story. It is the story of an up-and-coming, not necessarily a criminal, but somebody who absolutely who takes on criminal behavior because of necessities. And so I think that the two things could fuel each other. Running this game, if I could find the time. That's the other thing. With my schedule, like, when am I going to find time to run an RPG? I have always been a low to no prep game master, and my friends loved it. I always just made stuff up on the fly. I generally had some sort of large-scale goal in mind, or there was some bigger element to the story that the characters didn't know. But the weekly sessions were just made up on the fly. I would maybe take a few notes. I would maybe have a list of random names so I didn't have to generate names on the fly, and I would just go and piece this thing together. And so I could possibly run something like that once a month, or once every other month, or twice a year, or whatever. The question is, do I have the players that would be interested in something like that? And do I really have the time? I don't know. But story curation or finding a way to help other authors get published, I think that I would enjoy that a lot, because I don't enjoy writing my own stories anymore. I still want to say that I'm an author. I still love the idea of writing stories. I just don't enjoy the process at all. Like, no part of it. I enjoy telling stories, but I enjoy making them up. I don't enjoy, honing them. I think that's where this whole creative funk I'm in right now, this whole, I'm just not being fulfilled in a lot of different aspects of my life, both at work and creatively. I'm being, my family life, I'm extremely fulfilled, and I'm immensely grateful for that, because I feel like without that, I would be in a much darker place right now, constantly fighting myself or with myself for validation. And I'm currently not giving myself validation, and I have to sort that out. That's on me, not on you. I do appreciate the comments that from friends that wish me well, or wish they could help out. But I think honestly, this is one of those times when whatever's going on just needs to run its course, and then I'll get back to myself. Yeah. So I might be running Blades in the Dark sometime before the new year. We'll see. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is stagnation. It is a noun meaning the condition of being inactive or the slowing of forward progress or lessening of activity. Economist statistical techniques are not refined enough to analyze unambiguously the causes of this long-term stagnation. Jeff Madrick, a director of policy research at the Schwartz Center for Economic Policy Analysis, The New School. Stagnation, S-T-A-G-N-A-T-I-O-N. Yeah, I mean, again, not a very uncommon word in my opinion. Lots of things stagnate, like pond water.